think they're coming. Did everybody manage to find some eggs? Has anybody not eaten their eggs yet? Good, well done. Excellent. Okay. Teddy, I'm going to need you in a second. Not quite yet, just stay there for a second, but I am going to need you in just a second. I wanted to tell you very quickly about a meeting that I was in about 2 weeks ago. It was a meeting of something called the North Taunton Development Group. Doesn't that sound exciting? It's with local councillors and people from all kinds of different organisations, and it's about working out how we can develop North Taunton and working together and what we can do to support one another and things like that. And the councillor who was chairing it, I should say, it was an online meeting, because still those sorts of things happen, even after COVID and everything. So there's people all over Taunton were on this meeting, and the councillor who was chairing it was going around and asking people if they wanted to share anything about things that were going on in their organisations in the coming weeks. And I'm sat there listening to all these people talking, and then the councillor said, "Michael, have you got anything to tell us about your church?" And I thought, there's somebody else from a church here. I didn't know there was anyone else from a church on the meeting. And it was quiet and no one said anything. And I thought, that's strange. Maybe they're on mute. You know, you always go, you're on mute. Maybe they're on mute. And then he said again, "Michael, have you got anything you want to tell us?" And then someone else came on and said, "Jeff, he means you." Well, yeah, let me tell you. So I told them about some of the Easter things and stuff that we were doing. Names are funny things, aren't they? Did you know, here's a puzzle question. In John's Gospel, how many times does Jesus call someone by name? How many people does he call by name in John's Gospel? Teddy? Did you look at my notes earlier? Because the answer is 4. There are only 4 people in John's Gospel who Jesus calls by name. I've got some people to show you. There's one of them. I don't know if you can see, up on the wall, it gives a clue as to who it's meant to be. There's a cockerel there. So this is someone called Simon. And a bit like Dwayne Johnson, he had his name changed to The Rock. He had his name changed to Peter, in Hebrew, Kephas. When Jesus met him, he was called Simon. And Jesus gave him this new name, this nickname, Peter. He called him the Rock. This bit of the story, this bit of the Easter story with the cockerel there, Peter is anything but a rock. Teddy? Okay. Because this is where he denied even knowing Jesus 3 times. And yet Jesus still gave Simon the name Peter because he was going to be the rock. Jesus calls him by the name of what he could be and what he would be, rather than the name that he had and the name that he'd been given. He was going to become something that he hadn't been up till then. But when Jesus gave him that name, that's who he was going to become. I've got another one. This is another time where Jesus used someone's name in John's Gospel. Only 4 of them. Anyone work out who that one is? Lazarus. Lazarus has been dead in the tomb for 4 days. Jesus comes and stands outside the tomb, and what does he say? Lazarus, come out. And Lazarus came out. Lazarus heard Jesus say his name, and when he heard him say his name, he's restored to life. He's given back his life again. Peter gets a new name from Jesus. He's called that name by Jesus because he's going to become something. Lazarus also is becoming something. He's becoming alive again when Jesus calls him by name. I'm not going to tell you the last one because that's an obvious one for the Easter story that we're thinking about, and I've told you already, and Teddy's going to read it to us. Anyone think they know who the third one is? There's a clue because he features in that story. Because there aren't many pictures of this one. It's the disciple called Philip. He's the other one who's mentioned by name in John's Gospel. And it's the part of the story I read at someone's funeral not long ago, where Jesus says about going to prepare a place for them, and Philip says about seeing the Father, about seeing God. And Jesus says, Philip, you've seen me, so you've seen the Father. Because I and the Father are one, and he goes through all of that sort of stuff. Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. Philip had been with Jesus all the time, from very, very early on, and he still isn't quite getting it. He hasn't got that depth of relationship with Jesus that he knows when he knows Jesus, he's seen the Father and knows the Father. Simon gets his name changed to Peter because he can be who he's meant to be. Lazarus gets his name called by Jesus so that he can have the life that he's meant to have. Philip gets called by name by Jesus so he can discover the deeper relationship he can have with God. And then Teddy, come and read to us our Bible reading for this morning about the fourth person in John's Gospel who Jesus calls by name.
Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw the stone had been removed from the entrance. Mary stood outside the tomb crying. "They have taken my Lord away," she said, "and I don't know where they have put him." At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realize it was Jesus. Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned towards him, cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Mary Magdalene went to the disciples with news, "I have seen the Lord."
Perfect. Thank you, Teddy. Bottom corner. Mary meets Jesus on that Easter Sunday morning. She doesn't even recognize him and doesn't realize who it is. She thinks he's the gardener. Until Jesus says, "Mary." And at that point, she recognizes who Jesus is. Can you see how Jesus saying people's names, it proves the relationship he has with them because he knows them by name. And it reminds them of who he is and the relationship they have with him, and therefore who they are, and the calling that he's given them in their lives. The resurrection is such amazing news. Jesus rose from the dead to show us that nothing, not even death, has the power to keep him from being in us today. And then we can remain in that relationship because he's alive still today. And you know what? Jesus knows all of our names. I don't think I'm going to sit in heaven. I don't know, actually. I don't think I'm going to sit. It depends if my mum's there with me. I'm not going to sit in heaven and Jesus say, "Michael, would you like to..." Because he'll say, "Tiff, come here." Unless my mum's there and she'll tell him off. But whatever our situation is right now, just pause for a second and listen. Listen for your name being called. Because this morning I believe that the resurrected Lord Jesus wants to speak your name to you right now. Maybe he's saying that name in the way that he said it to Simon and changed his name to Peter. Maybe he's saying it because this morning he looks at you and says, I know who you could be, and I want you to become that. And so that's the name you're going to have. And maybe he's speaking your name in that way. Maybe he's speaking your name more powerfully and in a commanding way because he's saying to you that you can leave behind the death that you're in. You can leave behind the difficulty and the sadness, and you can have life restored just like Lazarus did. And maybe this morning Jesus is speaking to you and saying your name and saying, receive new life from me. Maybe he's speaking to you like he spoke Philip's name. And when you hear your name being spoken, maybe he's saying it in a way that says, come deeper into the relationship. Discover more of the Father and discover more of me. You've been with me all this time, and yet you haven't got that depth of relationship and of understanding. Come deeper. Come and see the Father. Or maybe this morning as he speaks your name, he's speaking your name just like he spoke to Mary. Maybe it's a gentle, quiet voice. But one that reminds us that he is alive. One that reminds us that he is here with us. One that caused Mary to get up and to run and to tell everyone that she met that Jesus was alive. And maybe as Jesus speaks your name this morning, that it's a way that he can help you to know that relationship and then to go and tell so many other people about what he's done for you and what he's done for them. So maybe we're just going to have a moment of quiet. Listen for Jesus speaking your name into your heart. Is it a name that says, don't stay where you are, but become who you're meant to be, like Peter? Is it a name that says, be restored to the life that you're meant to have, like Lazarus? Is it going to be go deeper and discover more of me and the Father, like Philip? Or is it going to be, I'm here, I'm with you, I'm alive. Go and tell everyone about what I've done for you, just like he did for Mary. Let's have quiet just for a second and you listen for Jesus speaking your name right now.